It's my pleasure to introduce to you our entrepreneurship student, Talisha Blanchard, who's our manager at Java 101.
And some of you haven't seen me before, but I'm Talisha Blanchard, and I'm an entrepreneurship student, as she said, at Java 101. I first started working at Java in August of 2015. I came in as assistant manager after my ServSafe instructor told me there was an opening, and she was like, I think you'd be perfect for it. I was like, cool. So I go in there and apply, and they didn't call me for like 2 months. So I was like, well, I guess they didn't really want me. So, and it's funny because I actually turned down another job and started working there. And I'm glad I did because I love working there. And then the manager at the time left in November, and I took over. And it was a struggle at first. There was just me and Mary Kate working there. I was working probably I think like 50 hours a week for those first couple of weeks to make sure that it stayed open. But it's been fun taking over. It's been one job that's been pretty fulfilling for me. But so since we've taken over, it's the biggest thing that I had an issue with was the financials. And because it's being run under the school, it hasn't really been taken serious as a business. And me as an entrepreneur, I'm looking at it as if it's my business. So the first thing is I went over the financials and I did all of the numbers. Oh, our Facebook page. Make sure you like us. So the first thing that I did was look over the financials, and last year we lost $10,000. So I was like, that's not happening again. So then I sat down and I brainstormed and looked at the things that brought in the most money, and it was food. And anybody that knows me or sees me, I'm a foodie. I love food, everything about food. And so I sat down and I was like, well, what can I do to change that, the menu? So I came up with a new menu for the spring semester, and it went pretty well. So the first month, January, I increased the sales about $300, and I was so excited about that. I was like, yay! So people, and that's just from foot traffic coming in. So I was like, people are starting to like me. So then in February, I did the financials, and I raised the sales by $2,200. And I think March was 1,600. May we actually was the first month that we lost money, and I wasn't happy about that. But I'm like, oh well, you have some months where you don't do as well as others, so I didn't beat myself up about it too much. But so hopefully I'm trying to expand a little bit. But as she said, working under the school has been kind of hard. So we just had our big budget meeting, so I'm trying to get a cart going for next semester to that'll probably triple our sales, going to people instead of waiting for the money to come to us, as well as trying to incorporate students a little more next semester. So we have T-shirts that we're going to sell, and we're having a word processing students, and then we're finally getting a handbook that we're having human resources management students create our handbook, and then photography students displaying their artwork in Java. So I'm really trying to incorporate students as much as I possibly can in there. And I'm an entrepreneurship major. Mary Kate is our assistant. She's our communication major. And I'm horrible at any art outside of culinary art. So she does all of the drawings on our boards. I don't know what we're going to do if she's not there. And then Chrisella over here in the corner. She's the food safety major. Well, she just graduated with her degree in food safety. And she'll be leaving us in August. But I where I am now is I'm trying to increase our sales as much as possible and trying to make this as nice for everybody that comes in there. So I'm looking for feedback and how to make it one known to everybody, because some people are still trying to figure out like where we are and they don't come over here much. So I think getting a cart in the other buildings will put us on the map a little more with new students. And so I'm looking for ways to incorporate students and even staff more, and ways to increase our sales and get our name out there a little more. Any questions?
Yes. Could you, not everyone in the audience may be familiar with Java. Could you please give us a brief overview of what it is, what your products and services are, and maybe a little history to it?
Okay, sorry. Well, Java opened up in, I believe, January of 2013. We're a coffee shop. We have specialty drinks like coffee, lattes, Americano, smoothies, now milkshakes and protein shakes. We're trying to keep it on the healthier side of things, so we have nothing that's fried. But on our food menu, we have paninis, quesadillas, wraps, and next semester, if I get my convection oven, we'll have a lot more. um, and we also do catering for different events on campus. Maybe one day we'll be able to expand enough to go off campus, but we're keeping it on campus for now. Um, I think that's basically what we have in there. Oh, and the best muffins I've ever had in my life.
Put the cart together to actually try to increase sales by going around on campus? In other words, I just want to know what's your stumbling block to getting to actually trying to increase the sales by being mobile, what I'll call mobile, with
No,
your cart?
I don't need the cart. I don't need the oven for the cart. They're two separate things. It's just a matter
No,
of.
but for the food, for the cart, by any chance?
Um, I'm still trying to hammer out the details with that, whether we're going to actually have hot food on there or just make deliveries with hot food.
Yeah.
But we'll definitely have like the snacks, the snack type things like the muffins and pies and stuff like that, and then lattes and coffee on the cart.
Well, when we first discussed your business, you really impressed me by the fact that you started talking financials, number one, and financials, the second point about it was you were handling the cost side of the business immediately. And
Yes.
that was very impressive. Can you tell us a little bit more of how you got a handle on the cost side of the business before we go ahead and explain some ideas about how you can increase your sales side of the business?
Well, the first thing I did was I checked the prices and make sure that we were pricing things properly by pricing out everything that is contributed with every product. So, for instance, if for a cup of coffee, included in the price would be like the cup, the lid, the uh, what are those things called? The sleeve, the coffee itself, the creamer, the sugar, the stir, a napkin that might go with it. Um, and then I broke that down the cost, and then for this business, because we don't really, it's not really a business for profit so much, but really for learning. We only do like a 50% markup on most. I think I do it across the board, but we may change that depending on how things go. But yeah, we don't really have to make a whole lot of money, so I don't have to keep the prices too high and then make it affordable for everyone.
No, but if it's being used as a training lab,
Yeah.
you might as well talk about the potential of increasing your margin, because you actually creating and training people to go out of your shop to
Yes.
actually have a lot more business acumen than when they came in. So I think you should follow that up. The other question I asked you at the time, this is paid for
Yeah, by the
Correct.
Chamber of Commerce.
by the Chamber of Commerce, which every time you get a chance, plug them. But the fact is, you've covered that cost element, which is very impressive in my opinion. As far as the increasing the sales, and you're a foodie, you ought to, in my opinion, start thinking about moving those donuts and your muffins
Yes.
on the cart immediately out through the campus. I would think people would jump on that, and you probably got a better markup on some of that product. Is that a fair statement on my
Yes.
behalf?
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you. I think that's a good idea.
And
Probably start that today.
the other thing that people seem to be really stressed out about, and I guess it's me because I can't find good pie people. And I bring that up all the time, and I just don't know why more people aren't making pies, not only here,
Yeah.
but on the road. I just cannot believe that we can't get old-fashioned, what I call old-fashioned pies with crusts that really like mom and grandma used to make.
Well, I tried when I first started, even as an assistant. Andrea let me have a lot of. Uh, she let me put my input in a lot, and which I like. She like incorporating all of us. So I tried pies, didn't sell one slice. Yeah, so that we wasted one pie. We didn't order them again. So I don't know. Maybe the appeal to pies isn't what it used to be. I like pie. I don't like fruit pie, but I like pie. Hence my stomach.
I didn't get to say my little spiel with, we've got the microphone that way if you'd like to ask a question or something. You know, between Mike and I, we managed to resolve that. But we want to make sure you're talking to the mic so that we can have your voice, your wonderful voice and question or comment recorded in our video presentation.
I would like to add one thing. I forgot. We are in the Morning Star Business Report for the May issue. We have a few copies, if you would like one in Java.
Wonderful. And our next question or comment?
Yes, I'm new here. I was invited by you, as you know. I'm, living around Georgetown, working around Georgetown. It was my first experience with Java 101. I mean, it's got a great brand. I had one of the best lattes I've ever had, and I did notice the prices were much less than I would have expected. So I kind of, I agree with you. But my question is, what is your target market? Like, is it exclusively Del Tech, or why doesn't Georgetown know about this?
I think, well, for now, it's Del Tech and anybody that comes on campus. One thing I do want to do is expand off campus, but it's kind of difficult. I don't want to, for the summer, it'd be fine, but I don't want to bring in more business than we can handle, because if we start going out for business and people are coming in and having 10, 15-minute waits, then I don't think that'll be too good for our reputation. So as we can handle the business, they have to trust me a little more before they can hire more people for me. But I think after this semester, they'll trust me enough to be like, all right, we trust you. What do you need?
So you're building it gradually as you
Yes.
can. Okay,
Yes.
that makes sense. But you've got something great going on here. Good job.
Thank you.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Okay, I just have a couple things that my mind has gone like in 500 different directions as I hear you talk, because I see where you're at, where you're, where you're envisioning maybe to go. I'm not sure if you have put into place any type of plan for that at this point in time. My concern, or my thought, not concern, my thoughts are where you get your product, primarily your coffees. Is it someone that is local, that is doing the roasting for you? Where does it come from? And have you considered the idea of partnering up with somebody locally doing their own roasting and being able to promote that as part of your process and your marketing?
We currently get our coffee from S&D Coffee. It's out of North Carolina. Speaking to the people that, because I wasn't here when they formed the business, but speaking to the people that were here, they chose that company because it was something different that no one else had. However, I'm not opposed to partnering with someone local. Because we partner, like, I'm the type of person that I have, like, weird stuff that people tend to like. Like, the Frozen Farmer, they make me my custom flavors. Like, I have bananas Foster cheesecake, which they didn't have before, but because we sold it so well, they're probably going to add it to their menu. So if I could find a roaster that would be able to customize something for me, that would be wonderful, but it's been difficult finding one. But maybe if I could find one, we may have something going.
I can answer a little bit on that. Part of the history to that was we first did think of local roasters and we did approach a few, but they did not want to take it on. And then the team decided perhaps the better approach would be to make sure that what we were doing was different than anyone in the area. Hopefully people would discover it and draw them in. So that was a conscious decision. But again, that's been 3 years ago. So, with businesses, you have to be able to evolve and change, and, they might have a different perspective on it now.
It's interesting because that's part of what I do. I try to match up, make people connections, that type of thing. I might have somebody that you might want to talk to,
Okay.
and I'd be more than willing to share that information offline.
All right.
Okay. The other part of it is when you look at your marketing, and you've talked about primarily focused on campus here at this point in time. Can you use the electronic means of the emails or whatever internally here to try to push specialties? Let's just take closer to Thanksgiving time and the pumpkin latte to the to the faculty, staff, and students, and even market something special. If you're looking
I
at
don't have access to the email, but what I do is I post announcements on the if you go to Deltec's website, they have like the banner thing, and it's on all of the TVs that are around campus and our Facebook page. But I'm not sure if I'm allowed to have access to emails or not.
well, maybe you ought to look at that.
I will.
She does promote her pumpkin latte.
It's delicious.
I've got a question for you. What time in the morning do you open?
8 a.m. every day.
I knew that.
Okay.
The reason I knew that is I came earlier and wanted something. Help me out. What is your busiest time? Is it lunchtime?
Yes, our
Okay.
busiest time is between 11 and 1:30.
All right.
Sometimes 11:30, but we have a little morning rush between 8 and 9, and then it'll die down, and then 11:30.
And are your clients mostly teachers or students?
During the summer, it's all faculty.
All
and then
faculty.
A few people that are taking summer classes, but during the semester, it's more students than.
And what time do they arrive? Don't they start before 8?
Most of the time, no. Most classes start at 8:30.
Start at 8:30. Okay,
Yes.
well that helps me a little bit because I was thinking, I imagine people walk in with a cup already that maybe they made at home or whatever. Is that not it?
Sometimes,
Okay.
but they come and refill it.
They come. Okay. All right. And you'll have carts at 2 other buildings. Is that what you're planning?
Past the library, but because food isn't allowed in there, probably won't stop. But definitely arts and science and Jason.
Okay. Okay.
Pending the approval of the cart.
And you'll probably start that in the fall then?
Yes.
Yeah, when the people are here. Okay.
Classes resume on August 22nd.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Because I imagine people in those buildings don't even know you exist sometimes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or if they do, they can't get over here.
Sure, sure. No, that's a great move. Will that mean you have to increase your staff, of course?
Yes, I've already been approved for one more person,
Uh-huh.
and I'm hoping that's enough.
Okay.
But yeah, because we picked up just foot traffic last semester, well, the spring semester, as opposed to the fall, and increased because we have on our at the end of the night, we have a register summary, and we can see how many guests came in and the average spending, and we increased the amount of guests and the money they spent here.
Okay.
So, I think before it was about like $350, and now it's like $425 per person.
Okay. And then my last question would be, do you have a menu of sorts at all?
I'm working on that for this summer.
Because if you had a menu with the luncheon things at the carts in the morning, it would
Yeah.
probably be a good thing. Because all they're thinking is coffee, and it's
Yeah.
a lot more.
One of the other challenges that she has is that the school has a policy of no food or beverage in the classrooms. So some instructors will allow students to bring in a bottle of water with a top on it, but apparently people bringing in coffee, spilling it, it would be sticky, especially if they were like me and like the coffee sweet and blonde. So therefore, they can't just walk in, grab a cup of coffee, and take it to class. So, other questions, comments?
I think it's great that you're going to Jason Building. I don't know how many professors I've sat in class with that wish they could make it over to Java to get coffee because they hate the bookstore coffee. They have complained for years. I've been a student for a while, and every year I have at least one professor that wishes I actually had one professor one year that would give me money so I could purchase Java coffee and bring it to her.
Well, that makes me feel good.
So the cart over there would be great. And most of the professors are pretty lenient about the food and stuff. As long as you clean up your mess, they're pretty easy going with it. It would be great if you could place an order for a sandwich, and by the time you got over here, you could
Well, you
pick your
can-
sandwich up.
You can call us. Our extension is 6875. Well, if you're calling from outside, it's 302-259-6875.
But if you could make it where people can message through your Facebook page,
That would be difficult.
yeah, I know. But if you're sitting in class, you can't call, so.
Yeah.
Paco, did I see your hand up?
It's 302-259-6875.
So there you go. You have an open mic Wednesday, is it periodically?
Every third Wednesday of the semester is open mic.
So maybe one of those talented individuals can create some jingle with your phone number that everybody can go around singing, right? Haven't been there some songs like that? Paco?
Good morning, Talisha.
Good morning.
I'm a Deltech graduate, and I never knew about you during my time here, and that's because I spent most of my time in the Jason building. But the bookstore coffee is terrible. And one of the things I was wondering is, have you considered maybe having like a satellite location there? Would they allow that? Replacing that with you?
The problem is we can't compete with the cafeteria, and the cafeteria already supplies them.
Okay.
And it don't. But I've come to recently find out it only works one way, where they can offer what we have, but we can't offer what they have. And because they're already supplying the bookstore, we can't like come in and step on any toes. But it would be nice.
I understand. The other thing is, I think a lot of the other students use Google a lot to find places. So when I would Google coffee, I would always be like one of the gas stations or something like that. So I would always have to run out and get some or pick some on the way to class. Because you guys are not listed on Google. Is there a reason for that?
Well, I didn't realize we weren't listed on Google, but I'll see about that.
Yeah.
See if we can change that.
And one last thing, you mentioned you now do smoothies and other things because you're trying to stay on the healthier side of things. Have you considered doing smoothie bowls and things like that?
Smoothie bowls?
Yes. I don't know if you've seen, there's like a big trend on that now. If you like Instagram the hashtag smoothie bowls, you'll see what I'm talking about. There's a place in Ocean City, and that's the only place I know that does it.
Okay.
But I think your profit margin on that would be a lot higher than on your smoothies if you wanted to look into that.
Okay, I'll look into it. Thank you.
Thank you.
One of the challenges that the Java 101 has been faced with is that from the start, we have a wonderful food service here called Lighthouse Cove. And part of their agreement with the college is they have exclusive rights to provide the food for the activities. So when the planning started for the Java 101, that was a consideration. So that's why you'll find Talisha's looking for foods and beverages that are not normally supplied by that food service, because they did come to an agreement because of this being a student lab too. Which reminds me, I don't know if you knew, Talisha, but our students actually came up with the idea. This used to be a vacant game room, and a student inquired with someone else, can't we turn that into something like a coffee house? So this actually originated from a student's idea, and it was entrepreneurship students that developed the business plan for this entity. So that's why I'm opening my mouth so much and had some background to it.
Well, since I opened my mouth too much too, I guess, but bottom line is you're getting students from the business education side to actually matriculate through your operation to actually understand what retail is all about,
Yes.
correct? Isn't
Yes.
that right? So it seems to me that you would have as many employees, quote unquote, as you would want once obviously the business program, and that's who heads this up, right? Leslie heads
Leslie
this
Merger,
up,
yes.
correct?
Yeah, I mean, well, it's because it's an actual business, we pay people, so I have to be approved to be able to hire the people because we still get paid through the college. So it's not like a separate entity within the college. We're still like a part of the college. So that's where
Okay.
it gets a little difficult.
That's one of the challenges, I think, because the college is a state institution, there are certain requirements that they have to follow in terms of hiring and the processes. And that is one of the challenges that Java faces. Maybe in the future, there might be some ways of working with that. But like any new business, you've got
Well,
to start somewhere and then see how
Well,
things
she's a
go.
business, she could have interns coming in.
I have interns too.
Well, I would actually, okay, excuse me.
I'm
You
sorry.
know your business, I don't. One other thought for you. I like the idea, and Dave here prodded me. In the article, and you've already mentioned this, it says another exciting addition is a partnership with the frozen farmer. If I understand the situation that you're in with respect to the competition, you have to bring in foods and drinks, etc., that definitely do not compete with them. Correct?
Yes.
Well, then why don't we go out and get every frozen farmer, so to speak, that's quotes, to supply you with their products that makes you a unique marketing outlet for their products, and then just have as many of them as you can get. Because then no one can be saying, well, you're competing against me.
Yeah. That's a good
Why wouldn't that be another viable way to increase your sales tremendously?
I think it is a good way.
And my last thought is, with as many employees as this college has, you would think that there would be a priority that could be given to obviously supporting your efforts, say from the maintenance department or someone that's one of the largest groups that actually work here. And I don't know how you do that politically, but I never have been very politically oriented along those lines when it comes to business. All right? That's just a couple of thoughts for you.
I'll keep those in mind also.
Other questions, comments? No? Well, Talisha, we have one important question to ask you as we wind this part of our 1 Million Cups up. What can we as a community do to support you and Java 101?
To support Java 101, you can do two things. You can like our Facebook page and share it. That's one thing. And tell everybody that you know to come to Deltec and come to Java 101.
I think that's great. Thank you very much for today. Now, because we have a little extra time and you've done your due diligence with Java 101, I wanted to give Talisha a little opportunity to share with us the other side of what she's doing with business. Would you share that with us?
Yes. Few of you may know, most of you probably not, but I have a side business that I'm in the process of starting. I've been trying to start it for like a year and a half now, but I've decided to push it back till after graduation. But I make candy shot glasses, and I make the candy shot glasses, and I presented this business in September, and I've gotten a lot of feedback to refine it, and I've been taking this year and refining it, but I've decided to wait until next summer after I graduate in the spring to really jump in it with 2 feet, because I don't have the time, and then I want to make sure people take me seriously as a business because I have an engineering student that actually just graduated that's making me a custom mold. And also I have people working on my packaging for me and stuff like that. And I try to use people from Deltec first and then branch out.
What ideas did you get for that from 1 Million Cups?
One thing, because I brought a few samples, some feedback that I got was that they might be sticky. So one way that I'm going to revise them is to dip them in food grade wax so people won't have the stickiness. And a few ideas for packaging, but I just think that the dipping it in the wax was the best solution for that, the best and cheapest solution.
Did How did you benefit from giving your presentation to 1 Million Cups?
I benefited, one, from meeting a few people here, and every time some of those people see me, they're coming up with more ideas for my business. And also, the word has been spreading, because I've actually had a few people come to me and were like, yeah, somebody was telling me that you make candy shot glasses. So, so I've had 1 Million Cups help my business by, one, refining my train of thought for my business, and two, networking. I don't think people realize one of the most important parts in business is networking.
We celebrate Global Entrepreneurship Week in November, and we also celebrate National Entrepreneurship Week in February. And in November, Talisha was in a class that did a project, and we learned another talent that she had, and that was with the baking. Now, she said she enjoyed food and she likes to bake, but she created a cake. Now, listen to this. She created a cake that looked like it was a bowl of cereal and milk was pouring out of the jug, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Onto the cereal, and it was all cake. Don't ask me how she did that,
Magic.
but I think she has a gift in more than just coffee and shot glasses. Is there anything else that you might like to share with us about your passions, your drive, your entrepreneurial experiences that you've been gaining through some of the things that you've tried, or through 1 Million Cups and Java?
Well, I don't know. I feel like when people say that, like, negative experiences are sometimes they'll be the best thing to happen to you, you really don't want to hear it at the time, because you're angry and you're upset at life. But honestly, I lost both my jobs in the same week, and that brought me to where I am right now, because it kind of puts you in a situation where you're like, I already didn't like my job anyway, so I might as well just go ahead and do what I wanted to do anyway. So it really pushed me to get to where I am now, to follow my dreams. And it's kind of hard to find purpose sometimes in life. But what helped me find my purpose was, one, losing those 2 jobs, and then I thought about, what do I do when I'm stressed out? I don't want to have a job that stresses me out. I want to do something that relieves stress and make money doing it. So I would get stressed out and I would cook like the whole kitchen, and then nobody would eat it. So I was like, well, maybe I'll have to work in a situation where I can cook, not be stressed, and everybody will eat it. So I had to teach myself how to cook, and that was a long process. But I think I've gotten a good handle on it. So once I graduate with entrepreneurship, then I'll go back for culinary at the Terry campus and refine my skills a little more.
Well, we wish you much luck and success. Can we all give her a real round of applause?